Hey guys, it's Aman
And Christina
from Our Rich Journey. On today's show, we're going to show you how to save a lot of money. Now, if you don't know, we save about 70% of our income. On today's show, we're going to show you some of the tactics that we use in order to have such a high savings rate. So number one is joining a Buy Nothing group. Now, if you've never heard of these, the Buy Nothing groups are more of a movement. Now, there is a website that you can go to, and you use this website to find local Facebook groups. And these Facebook groups form a local community of people that share, they don't trade, they share, they give away. They basically try to live life without producing waste by recycling things and giving them to one another.
We use Facebook as an example, but you don't necessarily have to join Facebook. It's really just the concept. You can rely on getting products from friends or from family and sharing your products as well, so that you're basically getting things for free.
Yeah, you see this all the time with baby clothes, where someone will have a baby and maybe a family member will also have a baby a couple of months or years later, and they'll just hand those clothes off. I think what's important is that by having that dialogue with the people around you, by having that attitude of sharing, that you can go for a very long time without buying anything.
The next way to save money is focus on this rule called the 72-hour rule. And I love this rule because it's great with our girls because they forget things all the time. So the 72-hour rule is when you think of things that you want to buy that are discretionary, so things that you don't necessarily need, it's putting it on a list, waiting for 72 hours, and then going back to that list and really determining whether or not you still want that. So that's a way to help you stop from doing this type of impulse buying. You really have to think about whether or not this product is meaningful for you. And if it is 72 hours later, then you could be more likely to purchase it. But a lot of times, 72 hours later, you're no longer interested in purchasing the product.
Yeah. We do this with our girls all the time. Whenever we go to a store and they just grab something off the shelf, we say 72 hours. And you know what? 72 hours later, they find that they don't need it or they forget about it. Now, number three is when you grocery shop, buy generic brand items. There is a huge saving in buying the generic brand. It's right next to the name brand item, and you know what? It's usually 50% less. So we're gonna use an example. We're gonna show you 3 different recipes where you use the name brand item to cook the same meal or the generic brand item, and we'll show you the savings. So we actually got this off of Dave Ramsey's site. But if you look at recipe number 1, the spaghetti, it's only $6.72 compared to $9.41. Recipe number 2, the generic price is $9.62. The name brand price is $17.56. And recipe number 3, if you cook with the generic brands, is only $14 compared to the name brand price to cook that same meal is $23.
By looking at these examples, the average savings is about $6.67 per dinner. Now, if you multiply that out over a month period, you're actually saving $210, and that's just on dinner. If you look at the yearly amount, that's almost $2,500 a year in savings by buying generic brand groceries just for dinner. Now, if you take into account breakfast and lunch, the savings is even greater. Number 4 is paying yourself first. Now, this is sort of tricking your brain because we usually don't pay ourselves first. What we usually do is we take money and we go and pay one thing, pay the next, and then what's ever left over is what we get. But that is not the proper way to save money.
If you pay yourself first, you should be taking a portion of your check and directly depositing it into your investment accounts. By paying yourself first, that is the quickest way to save money.
And when you pay yourself first, it's really psychological. It means that you're ensuring that each month you're saving money and putting it towards your investment. Whereas if you don't pay yourself first, you're just sort of getting whatever's left over, and it's not a consistent amount each month.
Number 5, evaluate your expenses. And we're talking about going to each and every expense and evaluating it, looking deep into it.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be so overwhelming. The suggestion is that you should do one item at a time. Don't look at it all broadly, all at once, because it can get very confusing and overwhelming. So start off with something like, for example, your car insurance. Look at your plan for your car insurance, analyze it, evaluate it, see if there's other plans that could be more beneficial or that could save you money. And once you're done with that, move on to the next thing that you can evaluate. You can evaluate your life insurance, your cell phone bill. There's all different categories that you can evaluate, but do them one at a time.
So by doing this, it's not the individual amounts, but the sum of all the savings that is the most powerful. Number 6 is develop a budget and track your spending. Now, people hate developing budgets, but I'm telling you, it's something you have to do. People will say, well, I spend about this much, or I kind of... Trust me, if you're saying about this much, you're probably spending too much. Let's look at some examples, because me and Christina were very guilty of this a long time ago.
So let's talk about when we lived in San Francisco. We spent a lot of money eating out. So we'd eat bagels or coffee in the morning, that's $8 right there. We'd go out to lunch, that's $12. And then we get another snack later in the day, that's $3. Now if you're looking at each of us doing that, you multiply those costs by 2 and it really adds up.
Yes. Yeah, so when we tracked our spending, we found out that we were spending almost $1,000 just on lunch in San Francisco.
And that's a month.
And that's a month. So just by seeing that on a budget, by tracking it, we realized all the potential savings.
And what did we do once we were in sticker shock after doing an Excel spreadsheet and finding out our budget that we were spending almost $1,000?
Oh, we became antisocial. I mean, I was like, I would bring my own coffee. I would have my own snacks. I'd actually go to work on Monday with a grocery bag full of snacks. Now, we're joking, but the savings is real, okay? The savings is not a joke. By just doing this one thing at the beginning of every work week, we saved so much money. Number 7 is always see if there's a free option. I love finding free options. It's almost like the gamification of not spending money, where if I see something, I always think, can I get that for free?
And this example here is different than the Buy Nothing Facebook page, because these are places that you can frequent that will give you these items consistently for free.
So here's a list of things that we always get for free. Books, museum tickets, our credit reports, tax prep. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So there's more than just the free item. Whenever you can, you should also be asking for discounts. I will often go to a place and say, well, can I get it for a little less? And these are things that have that leverage, people that have that discretion to lower the price. It never hurts to ask.
Number 8 is to educate yourself and listen to things like podcasts, watch YouTube videos, or read books. And this is all about educating yourself and becoming more familiar with things that other people are doing. People share a lot of information, and you may get some new ideas from other people that you haven't thought about, and those are always great ways to learn on how to save money.
So doing this, actually, you start to live a more intentional life by surrounding yourself with people that are looking to optimize their spending, that are looking to save money. And you can do that by surrounding yourself with like-minded people, or by listening to information and educational materials that help you understand that.
And our final tip is housing. We save all of our expenses on housing because we live rent-free. And we're not gonna go into detail on it on this video. We have a house hacking video that goes into a lot of detail on how we do it, but it's a great way to evaluate your housing and find ways to live rent-free, because that's a huge savings of your income.
So we hope you like these tips. And if you did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and
Join the journey.